Michelle bought the art set at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. Premium watercolors, professional brushes, one of those wooden cases that fold out like something from a movie about a real artist. Her daughter had mentioned, once, in passing, that art class was her favorite part of school. The total came to $127. Michelle made $43,000 a year teaching fourth grade. She clicked Confirm Purchase anyway. By the time the box arrived 3 days later, she'd already forgotten ordering it. That's how it worked now. The purchasing and the arriving had become separate events, disconnected by just enough time that each felt like it was happening to a different person. Her daughter's face lit up when she opened it. "Mom, this is amazing!" And for maybe 45 seconds, Michelle felt like she'd done something right. The credit card statement, when it came, disagreed. Current balance, $18,340. Michelle hadn't planned to become the kind of person who buys things she can't afford. Nobody does. But somewhere between the divorce, the second job tutoring on weekends, and the constant gnawing guilt of never being around, shopping had become the language she used to say, "I love you," when she was too exhausted to say it out loud. It started small, a toy she saw at Target that seemed educational, new sneakers because the old ones were getting worn, and what kind of mother lets her kid wear worn-out shoes, a birthday party at that trampoline place that cost $340 because all the other kids were going and she couldn't be the reason her daughter felt left out. Each purchase had ironclad logic, each one was justified, each one was for her kids, not for her, which somehow made it virtuous instead of reckless. The math, unfortunately, didn't care about her intentions. Teachers in her district got paid once a month. By day 18 of every pay cycle, Michelle was checking her bank balance before buying groceries. By day 23, she was paying for gas with the credit card she'd sworn she'd pay off this month. By day 28, she was making minimum payments and lying to herself about February being different. February was never different. The worst part wasn't the debt. It was the logic loop. She'd work a double, school until 3:30, tutoring until 7, home by 8 to kids who'd already eaten whatever her neighbor could throw together. She'd feel guilty about missing dinner. Then she'd scroll Amazon while lying in bed, too tired to shower, looking for something to buy them that might translate to, "I'm sorry, I'm never here." The packages arrived like tiny absolutions. Each one said, "You're still a good mom. You're providing. You're trying." The credit card debt said, "You're failing in a different way now." She knew this. She knew the math didn't work. She knew she was borrowing from a future version of herself who would be just as broke and twice as tired. But knowing something and being able to stop doing it are not the same thing. Her daughter started saying, "It's okay, Mom," whenever Michelle missed something. School play rehearsal, parent-teacher conferences, the thing at school where they make crafts. "It's okay, Mom, I know you're busy." Those 4 words, "It's okay, Mom," cost Michelle roughly $200 in guilt spending per incident. The breaking point came at the school book fair. Michelle was working, obviously, so her daughter went with a friend's parent. That evening, she came home empty-handed. "Did you get any books?" Michelle asked. "I didn't have money." Michelle felt her chest tighten. "You could have asked Mrs. Patterson." "She did. She said to ask you first." The shame was instant and total. Her kid had wanted a book, not a toy, not something frivolous, and couldn't get one because Michelle hadn't sent money. Meanwhile, there were 17 Amazon boxes in the garage from the last 2 weeks alone. That night, Michelle logged onto her credit card account and actually looked at it. Not the minimum payment amount, the actual statement, the line items. $43 at Target, $87 at Amazon, $156 at the toy store, ironic given what had happened, $210 at that indoor play place, $93 at Amazon again. She scrolled back through 3 months of statements. The pattern was obvious and sickening. Every time she missed something, a recital, a school event, a simple dinner at home, there was a corresponding spike in spending within 48 hours. She wasn't buying her kids things. She was buying herself relief from guilt, and it wasn't working. It had never worked. The art set her daughter loved, she'd used it twice. The expensive sneakers, dirty within a week, just like the cheap ones would have been. The birthday party at that trampoline place that cost $340 because all the other kids were going and she couldn't be the reason her daughter felt left out. Her daughter's favorite part had been eating pizza with friends in the lobby, the free part. Michelle had spent $18,000 trying to solve a problem that didn't require money. The actual solution was so simple it made her want to scream. The next week, she didn't buy anything. Instead, she came home from school, skipped the tutoring session she could barely stay awake through anyway, and made spaghetti. Just spaghetti. With her kids. At the table. Her daughter talked about a girl in her class who brought a lizard for show and tell. Her son spilled sauce on his shirt and laughed instead of crying. Michelle listened. Actually listened. Instead of scrolling her phone looking for the next thing to buy them. It cost $11 in groceries. That weekend, instead of booking some expensive activity, they went to the park. Free. Her daughter brought the art set, the one Michelle had bought in a fit of guilt, and painted while Michelle pushed her son on the swings. "This is fun," she said. Michelle almost cried. This is what she had been trying to buy, right here, this moment, and it had been available the whole time if she just stopped long enough to show up for it. Breaking the spending habit was harder than she expected. The urge to buy didn't disappear just because she had a revelation. The guilt didn't evaporate because she'd made spaghetti one time. But she started doing something new. Every time she felt the pull to buy something, she wrote down what she was feeling instead. Missed Emma's art show. Feel like shit. Worked until 8 again. Kids ate cereal for dinner. Other parents planned a play date without asking me. Probably because I'm never around. The list was brutal, but it was also honest, and it showed her something the credit card statements never had. She wasn't actually buying her kids things. She was trying to buy forgiveness from her kids, from herself, from some imaginary standard of motherhood she'd never be able to afford. She started tutoring less. The lost income hurt, but not as much as the debt had been hurting. She said no to birthday parties at expensive venues and hosted them at home instead. Chaos and mess, and weirdly, the kids seemed just as happy. She stopped trying to match what other parents were doing. Other parents had 2 incomes, or higher-paying jobs, or family money. She had her time and her presence, and once she stopped trying to substitute money for those things, it turned out they were actually worth something. 6 months later, the credit card balance was $14,200. Still obscene, still stressful, but moving in the right direction for the first time in years. Her daughter brought home a painting from school. She'd been there when she made it, volunteered for art day instead of tutoring. The painting was taped to the fridge with 3 other drawings, none of them made with the expensive art set. "I like when you're home," her daughter said one night, out of nowhere. "Me too," Michelle said. It wasn't some grand transformation. She still missed things. She still felt guilty. She still occasionally bought something she couldn't afford when the guilt got too heavy. But she'd stopped believing that love looked like a shopping cart. It looked like showing up tired. It looked like spaghetti on a Tuesday. It looked like being there, even when, especially when, she had nothing to give but herself. Turns out, that was the thing her kids had been asking for all along. She just hadn't been able to hear it over the sound of clicking confirm purchase.